Truck drivers, cargo theft is running rampant right now. Today we're going to talk about that. So cargo theft isn't just happening like the old school smash and grab as much anymore. Criminals today are more high tech, they're organized, and they're targeting truckers and trucking companies every single day. And if you're the kind of trucker that thinks, well, that could never happen to you, well, I got something quick to share with you before we really dive in. So not too long ago, thieves stole over $1 million worth of tequila. You heard that right, tequila, from a brand owned by Guy Fieri and Sammy Hagar, or Hagar, however you say it. And if it can happen to them, it can happen to anyone. So let's break this down. So cargo theft is a multi-billion-dollar issue in the US right now. And unfortunately, we're not just talking about a few stolen boxes here and there. We're talking hundreds and millions of reported losses reported every single year. And the truth is, not even every theft gets reported. So the actual number, in my guess, is going to be much higher. As a truck driver or owner-operator, let me know down in the comments if you've ever had any load stolen from you. With all of these cargo thefts taking place and the numbers rising rapidly, for you drivers, that means even more downtime. It means potentially having to deal with investigators as well. It means loads that you sometimes thought were completely legit just vanish, and sometimes you're left holding the bag with no paycheck, lost miles, and even a bad mark on your record, even though you technically didn't even do anything wrong. A lot of truckers are actually getting victimized and being pulled into these schemes without even knowing it. For the companies, this means insurance costs go up, many customers straight up just lose trust, and shippers start shopping for safer options. At the end of the day, no matter how you think about it, cargo theft hits us all. And that's why I'm just going to be breaking it down for you today. Back from the beginning, this is how cargo theft used to happen. The thefts back in the day were for the most part pretty simple. A trailer would get parked at a truck stop by a driver, completely legally. A thief would cut the trailer lock, steal what they could out of the trailer, and disappear. Or in crazier cases, sometimes it was a full hijacking where someone legit takes over the whole cab, takes the driver out of the cab, and they run off with everything. Now in today's cases, that hijacking still takes place, but what's really starting to beat that is going to be organized crime and cyber crimes. These aren't just random criminals anymore with little to zero skills. Some of these thefts are going as high up as people hacking and redirecting shipments online. These coordinated crime rings are using technology, they're using fake paperwork, and even GPS spoofing to make it look like your load is safe, when in reality, it's being stolen. This is why it's important that I had to talk to y'all about this today, because you drivers are also being targeted majorly in these schemes. Let me just give you the wildest example. So earlier this year, 2 truckloads of Santo Tequila, a brand co-owned by celebrity chef Guy Fieri and rock legend Sammy Hagar, were stolen. That's about 24,000 bottles of tequila, and that's worth over $1 million. And here's pretty much how it all went down. The tequila crossed the border illegally at Laredo, Texas, and it was supposed to go all the way to a warehouse in Pennsylvania. A logistics company handed off the job to a carrier. That carrier then rebrokered the load to another company. And that's where things went completely wrong. These so-called carriers were complete fakes. Now, they looked legit on paper, they had the right numbers, they had the right paperwork, and again, they even spoofed the GPS to make it look like everything was safe and clear. But instead of those trucks heading to Pennsylvania, they were actually diverted to LA. One shipment, about half of the tequila, was eventually found in a warehouse in California. The other shipment, to this day, is completely gone, never been found. Honestly, Guy Fieri said it best himself. If it can happen to us, it can happen to anyone. And he's absolutely right. At a conference over the last week, I've actually heard of several even smaller companies getting shipments stolen here right in Vermont. So this is happening everywhere, large or small. This tequila theft is coming from a company that has big money, great brand recognition, and pretty good security measures in place, and they still lost 2 full loads worth over $1 million. And that's the reality of cargo theft today. You can have the craziest good security, you can really be paying attention, you can have great drivers, and the wool can just still be pulled over your eyes. And if you're asking what makes you as a trucker vulnerable or companies and carriers vulnerable, let's talk about that. Number 1, the more hands in the chain, the higher the risk. When a load goes from a broker to a carrier to a subcontractor and then to you, every single step adds another chance for fraud to happen. Number 2 is going to be unsecured parking. If you leave a trailer in a poorly lit lot or overnight in a low security area, you're practically inviting thieves to try. And again, this is not on you, this is on the thieves for victimizing people and companies. Number 3 is going to be paperwork that does not line up. Maybe the company name on the bill of lading doesn't match the name on the rate confirmation. Maybe the phone number you're given isn't the same one listed on FMCSA. You need to make sure all of your paperwork is on point. Even if you're a driver just receiving shipments, look at your shipping papers and make sure that everything checks out to you. Number 4 is going to be sudden changes. This is one of the major things that you need to look out for. If you're halfway through a run, then suddenly you get a text telling you to deliver that load somewhere else, else, that is a major red flag, and he should be following up a ton with that. And I say this because the majority, if not all of these shipments at one point or another were redirected or diverted to somewhere that they should never have been in the first place. Some of the high stolen items listed are things like electronics and seafood and beauty products. Those have really high price margins. But the number 5 thing that you need to pay attention to is going to be over-reliance on technology. GPS tracking is great and all, but like we just talked about with that tequila heist, criminals are now spoofing GPS to make it look like if a shipment is headed one way and it's headed in the opposite direction. So just because the dot on your map says that your shipment is rolling somewhere, it doesn't mean that's exactly where it's rolling. Like mentioned earlier, drivers are being unknowingly pulled into these things as well. So I'm going to tell you right now what you can do as a driver to help you not be caught in this situation and how to notice major red flags. Number 1 is going to be for you to verify your broker and your carrier. Use the official FMCSA website. Look up the DOT number. Make sure the company's operating authority is active. Number 2 is going to be to document everything at pickup if you can. Take photos of the seal, the trailer, and the bill of lading. Timestamp those photos if you have to. That way, if something goes wrong later, you have solid proof of what you picked up and when. Number 3 is going to be don't just park anywhere. Truckers, I know parking can be tight, but really be mindful of this one. Use secure lots, well-lit areas, and locations with cameras if you can. These thieves really prey on convenience a lot of times, so don't make it any easier for them. Number 4, if you see that your destination changes or your boss or someone texts you about a destination change, you need to stop and verify everything before you can start moving again. And I mean, call the owner, call the carrier, whoever you have to call to make sure that this is legit. Stop and do that. Because these criminals are relying on you as a driver just sitting there and saying, oh, I guess we're going here now, and just start driving to wherever that text says. That's what they're relying on. So don't let them get one over on you. And number 5 is going to be to trust your gut. If the paperwork seems off, if the contacts seem really sketchy, if something in your gut tells you this doesn't feel right, listen to your instinct. Make sure you double and triple check everything before you start rolling. For my carriers and dispatchers out there, you're going to want to listen to this. Do your due diligence on every single subcontractor. If you're going to rebroker a load, make sure that company is who they say that they are. Don't allow blind handoffs. If one of your drivers calls in with the destination change, confirm it with the broker directly before even letting that truck move. Train your drivers on these red flags. Teach them to look at the paperwork extensively. Teach your drivers to double check still numbers and always take photos. Carriers and dispatch, use better tech when you can. A lot of newer GPS systems actually have anti-spoofing features on them, so those might be worth looking into. Some companies are even experimenting with blockchain trafficking for high-value freight. And most importantly, have a plan. If a driver calls in and says, hey, something feels off, this paperwork doesn't line up, or hey, did you send me a text telling me to go somewhere else? You need to have a clear procedure on what you need to do. Who should the driver call next to verify anything? What information they need to collect? And in general, what steps do they take next? So here's the bottom line. Cargo theft is evolving rapidly. It's no longer just about someone cutting a lock and stealing freight and running off with it. It's about fake companies, fake paperwork, shipment diversions, and fake GPS data. These are organized crime rings that know how to exploit weak links in the chain. And the scary part, listen, the scariest part of this all is that you might not even know that you're in the middle of all this until the load is completely gone. That's why you need to stay vigilant as possible. Again, this goes for my truck drivers, my carriers, dispatch. Stay vigilant. Verify all documents and never be afraid to just slow down and double check everything. I know time is money, but if we manage these things correctly, we can then make more money. That one extra phone call could be the difference between delivering your delivery successful or losing it forever. Stay sharp, protect your load, and keep the supply chain strong. If this video helped you and brought you value, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so that it gets pushed out to way more truckers so that they can be in the know and stay protected just like you. Stay tuned for more DOT awareness, trucking news, and safety compliance stuff in general, because that's what we do here at this channel. As always, stay safe, keep rolling.